Criticality. It's one of the three sections. It's the third one we're recording, so hooray. Anyways, one of the 5 components, criticality. The point of criticality. So we have criticality. The point of criticality is to determine how critical or how important something is, how you're going to prioritize it. First, let's kind of identify what these levels are and why you care. You can customize this a lot. I personally, I'm used to doing number-based. So we'll have number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll have criticality levels, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower number, higher priorities. You know, it's my first priority, it's my second priority, it's my third priority, that sort of deal. Now, how are these defined? This is somewhat open to you defining. You can kind of play with these a bit. Also, sometimes these are color coordinated. They don't use numbers. So we'll have like red level. They'll go usually like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, that sort of deal. Or you'll have symbols or names or whatever, but you have some sort of level or tier system where you have something is, you know, most important, at least with people who are used to making tier lists, you'll often have like A, B, C, D, E tier, or, you know, S tier, or like whatever. Some people like using S as a higher number than letter than A, whatever. You have some sort of tier system, fine. Okay, so the highest tier here, the most important thing for this is going to be defined as something that is part of your core mission or vision. So this is your reason for existing. The thing that is criticality level 1 fundamentally is going to be the reason you're here. If you are a private sector business, very often sales is going to be in number 1. Your existence is for making money, and sales is how you make money. It's going to be right there. Depending on the business, other things may be here. If you are a research and development firm, your research department may be right there. It might be your reason for existence. Why does the organization exist? If you are a government institution whose job it is to save lives, so let's say you're a fire department, or something like that. Your number 1 stuff is probably going to be the stuff that specifically does the job of life-saving. So the thing that meets your core mission or vision. Okay, so that's what's here. Why do we exist? The stuff that is the thing that we do that fulfills that purpose. This is what we do. That's your number 1. Okay. Your number 2 is going to be and I should actually have done this in a different color order for the sake of things being pretty, but whatever. Your number 2 is going to be stuff that directly supports the core mission or vision that must be internal. So this is the stuff that is like internal mandatory, directly supporting. So mandatory support of 1 internal. Okay, there's going to be stuff that you need in order to fulfill your core mission and vision that you are not going to outsource, that must be done internally. It's almost your core mission or vision, but it's not necessarily. If you lose it, there is a serious problem of impacting this, and you have to do it yourself because someone else doesn't know how to do it good enough. That's your number 2 stuff. Your number 5 stuff, I'm going to jump there for a second because these will make sense when I do that, is replaceable, outsourceable, expendable. Parts of your organization that you can afford to do without. If there is a part of your organization where if a bad thing happened and you lost it, you would say, you know what, we just outsource it. We're not going to recover it. It's fine. We can do without it. Like, we've developed it. It's here. Sure, we'll keep it around. But if we lose it, right? If there's an impact to that or to that part of the organization, we're just going to fire everybody that has to do with it because you don't even want to recover it. It's fine. We can afford to lose that finger. We can afford to lose that limb. It's fine, right? That's your 5s. That's your lowest priority stuff. The 3s and the 4s are the stuff in between, and these are going to be progressively more expendable. So your 3s are going to be your probably won't outsource, or your probably keep internally, your stuff we do. So it's kind of like the stuff we do, not core mission. 4 is going to be your partial outsource, maybe? Right? It's going to be your, well, like maybe we can outsource this, maybe it's a bit in-house, maybe, you know, we should still keep it around. Like it's not expendable, it could be later, but we probably still need it, I think. You know, that sort of idea. So you've got your 5 different sort of tiers. You could have 4, you could have 6, you could have 7, whatever, but you've got your core thing you do, you've got the stuff that's expendable, and you have your gradients in between. That's essentially your criticality. Now, what you're going to do with your criticality, once you've figured out how you're defining this is, and if you've seen the other videos, you can imagine what I'm about to do here. We're going to write down sales, operations, admin. These are the functions we've been using the whole time. Finance. We have IT. And then I put down marketing. You've got your 6 things. You've got a magical chart. And then you're going to write down your criticality level, and then why. So you're going to want to also, if you give something a certain criticality level, you want to know why you're giving it this specific level. Okay, this is really, really important. Something that is a high criticality level is going to ask for more funding and is probably going to justify it and demand it. Something that is a high criticality level, when we go to justifying the timeline breakpoint stuff, they're going to get their breakpoint they ask for. They're getting it. The stuff that supports it might get it. The stuff down here, we're probably going to tell it that we don't care about its breakpoint and that it can just deal, and we don't care. However, once we mix all this together, if this thing has a breakpoint that ends up affecting this thing, then this thing, the low criticality, may magically get a different breakpoint than it think it got, because we care about how it affects core mission. So you need to find out these levels. Now, you look through the stuff. I have these numbered and color-coded, so I made orange 1, pink 2, yellow 3, green 4, and blue 5. Looking back at this further, I probably should have flipped pink and orange for what people are used to for colors, but whatever. There's a color code system and a number system. You can put in whatever you feel like. Here, each one of these things is going to have a certain level. Let's walk through some logic on our hypothetical business here. The business idea that we used in the timeline breakpoints was an original equipment manufacturer that is involved in making tractors. So they make a part that is, or multiple parts that are part of making tractors. They have a few important clients that make up most of their business. So they care about maintaining a supply chain and about keeping these clients happy. Okay, they're not acquiring a lot of new clients, but they care about maintaining these things, existing relations, and about delivering on time for the client. Okay, so they make a part for a tractor. First thing, the point of this company is making the part and delivering the part. Their reason to exist is ops. That's what they do. Ops is criticality 1, no question. That's easy. We know that. Okay. Now, look through their other stuff and think, is it 1 for now? Okay, or you can do these one by one or think through order, but I'm going to go through these and figure out if they're 1 yet. So first of all, is anything else here core mission? Sales is usually core mission, but in this instance, this company isn't trying to get new customers all the time. They're trying to maintain their relationship with existing customers. However, if sales is the department that is doing that, then their core mission of delivering to specific partner may heavily involve sales. I'm debating between making sales another one, because these both can be one. You can have two, you could have everything at one potentially. It's not likely, but you could, and giving it a 2. With what I'm reflecting on, I'm thinking that they want to make stuff and sales helps them ensure that that gets delivered. So I am thinking that sales is, in this particular company's instance, because they're not trying to acquire new clients all the time, it might be a level 2, it might be a mandatory support of 1. You could debate it either way. Okay, you could make an argument for one or the other. So if you make the argument that this is core business because they need to be making money and this is the way they do it, fine. If you make the argument that this is just a supporting function, you can make the argument that it's a 2. Do not put in 2 criticality levels when you're doing this over time. But for the sake of demonstration here, pick one of these and then you can put it in, fine, okay? I'm just saying you could find a justification for either one for this in this example. It depends. Admin. Is admin the core business? No, this is not what they're doing. This is not the purpose for existing. Is admin mandatory support for operations, and must it be done internally? Can they outsource this? An original equipment manufacturer, for a few specific clients, is probably going to want to keep its processes pretty close, because if its stuff gets out there, their competitors might take their market share. They might try to steal their clients. They're going to keep a lot of this stuff pretty close to the chest, and admin is going to integrate with ops a lot. Admin is probably not going to be a 4 or a 5. There's an argument it could be a 2 or a 3. Because of the company I'm envisioning, where they're pretty integrated with ops, I'm going to make the argument that admin in this case is a 2. Okay? Just for the sake of argument. Finance. Finance is your ability to access your bank account and your ability to invest. The purpose of this company is to make money and to really make stuff. They want to be the best maker of this specific part for tractors. Fine. Finance is potentially something you'd outsource, because you could outsource your investments to a hedge fund or to an expert that does these things for you. And you might say that access to our bank account is not something we need all the time, because this is stuff that just kind of comes in and goes, and this isn't really our core mission. I could see an argument, depending on how much finance contributes to the money you make in a year, for finance being a 3 in this case. If finance is actually how you make your money, and this is just kind of a nice thing and you just say it's really good, then this could be a 1, let's be honest. But for the sake of argument here, let's say that this could be like a partial outsource for some parts. Well, actually, frankly, if it's partial outsource, we're going to 4 already. It's not a 5, we know that. You people want access to their bank accounts. I'm pretty happy putting this at about a 3. You could make arguments either way depending on how specific the company is on stuff, but this one's a bit of a floater. It's definitely not ops though. Okay, IT. Now, many businesses are going to want to just throw a 1 at IT because it's their core business. It is not your core business. IT is the thing that, generally speaking, makes it so the other stuff runs. It's the thing that helps you make sure that all of this other stuff works. In many cases, companies will have an IT department that is a 4 or a 5 because they have an outside party guarantee all this stuff for them. They're not doing it internally. This company probably has proprietary information that they want to keep close to the chest. They probably have an internal IT department that the rest of the company is dependent on. And the rest of, especially the ops, that ops will need to function. However, if this company doesn't require IT for ops to function, if the production, the main reason for their existence, is analog, this does not support core business directly. That could quite easily put IT at a lower number. I'm going to say, for the sake of argument, because this may be a fairly risk-averse business that really wants to take care of its intellectual property, that I'm going to put the IT at a 2. But this could be a lower criticality depending on how you look at it. It's not a 1 though, because their core business isn't running the IT department. Their core business is making money and producing stuff. Marketing. When we discussed this company, the marketing department was basically helping them get ready for conferences and making them present in industry magazines. This isn't, a fast food establishment that's trying to put out commercials all the time to get people in the store. They already have an established client base. The reality is that for a company like this, the marketing department may just be entirely outsourceable. They might be able to just give it to a marketing firm and have a marketing firm do it for them. And then they pay a bill every now and then, and the marketing firm that they contract out does the marketing for them, whatever. This might be something that they're willing to, if they do it internally, just lose it. That's fine. Fire the people, hire a firm, whatever, move on. So that's your criticalities. Record why they matter, and later on, this will inform, especially once we mix in dependencies and start putting this all together later, this will inform how all the stuff gets combined. Okay? Fairly quick, fairly simple to explain, can take quite a bit of time to really think through and justify what you're going to do. That's criticality essentially in a nutshell.